So if you look at it, the same verse in the NLT, that's the New Living Translation. It's not a special pencil. It's just a pencil that I got at Walmart. It's a little bit more expensive. It's called a Dixon Ticonderoga black pen. It's just a little bit more expensive than the number 2 pencils that are just the yellow ones. So still at Walmart, didn't cost that much. So this is my first time using them, so I was just trying to, I just like to draw in the Bible before I do much of anything else. If I decide to use colored pencils, or if I decide to use markers, or I'm always going to start with a pencil. You see there I have my white eraser. They are recommended when you're Bible journaling because they don't smear your pencil like anything like other pencils do. So I'm trying to get a little line underneath that eye there for them eyelashes to come off of. It's supposed to be straight and it's not quite straight, so I'm not liking what's happening here. You'll see, I think I erased the whole thing again. am not an artist, so by all means, if I'm not doing this right, please forgive me. I'm sure other people know how to draw better than I do. That big round thing at the bottom is supposed to be a teardrop. I was trying to figure out which way the eyelashes were going to go. In the part there, you can see that middle underneath that dark part there. That's actually the eye itself. I was not sure how I was drawing this. I was trying to just do the best that I could. Trying to get a little bit of shading going. I'm not much of an artist. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I'm trying. And I think I always say that the Lord is just happy that I'm spending time with Him. See, and eventually I kind of realized that all these are kind of going the wrong way. They should be going straight up in the air. They should be more at an angle. But like I said, I'm not an artist, so I was just doing the best I could. Alright, so I'm going to let you go ahead and finish watching this. Hi, welcome to Lovely Plans. This is Marlene, and today I am going to draw this eye in 2 Peter 16. The ESV version says, "For we did not follow cleverly devised myths when we stop. as you see here, I'm putting in some shadowing underneath the eye. I was trying to get it to look very realistic. But it takes a little while to build up the layers and to get the shadowing. In here, Peter was referring to the transfiguration where Jesus' divine identity was revealed to him and two other disciples, James and John. So, and that's telling you about the majestic splendor that they seen in a changed person, the transfiguration from a non-Christian to being a Christian. And that's it is a huge after you look back at it, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to work at yourself. As you believe in the Lord, He will change you. He will change your old ways. He will, once you become saved, you're not going to look at the old life the same as you did before. And it says you're going to become a new person. So the transfiguration if you've ever read the book of Acts, you'll see the transfiguration of Paul as well. He was a person that would be out and he was killing Christians just because he wasn't a Christian. And then God showed up to him and changed his life, and immediately he became a different person. And he started sharing the gospel and preaching. There's a lot to learn in these books. And you don't always do it overnight. So I have been studying for quite a while, and I love to just sit back, spend some time, think about what I'm learning. You know, if you try to cram too much in one day, it's harder to keep it all in. So you pray about it, you read it, you journal it, you live it out, and you practice it every day. You don't need to read a lot of verses. There's plenty of time for that. I usually read about a chapter a day. And if you look, you can see the 1 and the 2 there. Read the 1, meditate on it, think about it. What's it mean? Pull out the important words out of that chapter. Write it. If you learn better by writing things out, write the chapter. Many people do that. When it says he, find out who the he is. The what. Find the what. What does it mean? Ask these questions. They call it the 5 W's and the H. When, where, how, why, and when, and then how. Who. 5 W's and an H. So, answer those questions. Find out. Stop. Slow it down. You don't have to do this all in one day. Slow it down. Study it. I do an inductive Bible study, and that helps me a lot. You look for everything throughout the Bible, and every single time you go sentence by sentence, and sometimes a half a sentence by a half a sentence, trying to discover what everything means. When he says he and his, who is he talking about? Who's he? Who's his? Who are they talking about? And what are they talking about? And why are they talking about it? So you got to think of yourself as a child, thinking of all these different questions to these, to this book, and keep studying and studying and studying until you get to know it all. It takes time. This is my first time doing a voiceover. So if you decide you like this, that's great. If you decide you don't like this and you'd rather have me do videos while I'm coloring, let me know. I mean, a lot of people don't do it that way, but I can. I don't have to be. And I know my eyelashes on the top are way, way too big. And I'm looking at it now saying, yep, it was too big. But that's the way I left it. So I was trying to define certain areas. My eyelashes at the top look so dark. The eye looked dark, and I was trying to get the bottom ones to match. And then that tear down there. I was just thinking, if you saw Jesus, what would your eye look like? What would you be doing? And I thought that I might have a tear in my eye. I might be so excited. So, fearful. Do you fear God? Yes. Life, God has my life in His hands. And my whole thing is you want to do what God says, you want to do what God would do, and you want to serve Him right. And I love just taking the time and doing this. I might do this while I'm watching a movie or watching, and I only watch Pure Flicks. So it's, I like those Christian movies. I only listen to Christian music now. Something I started a few years ago. So this can teach you anything. You learn. All my friends that I hang out with, most of them are Christians. There are a few non-Christian people in my life, though, and those are the ones that I want to pray for. They're the ones that need to see this, and they're the ones that I have had many a request to do a live class doing this. But with the COVID, we're not going to get that done, and with a lot of other things going on, it's just not a good idea to do yet. So I'm looking at it, not sure what else I wanted to do yet. I'm thinking I'm trying to make these bottom ones a little bit longer because the top ones are so long. Just trying to make them look even. I think I'm getting ready to pull out my colored pencils. Trying to do a little bit of shadowing in that tear now. Trying to imagine what a tear would look like. I got a little circle there at the bottom where it's dripping. Getting ready to fall. Like I'm looking at my verse again because I write it on a sheet of paper, the verse. I double check it in the book to make sure that that's exactly what I want to say. So I'm writing out the verse that I wanted to do. I'm looking at it, and I wanted the word majestic to be a little bit bigger, and I wanted it to go across the whole page a little bit more. So that's why I erased it. And I'm going to try to write a little bit bigger and make it go closer to the other side of the page. Same with splendor. With our own eyes. And I always go over it carefully to make sure everything's spelt correctly, to make sure, you know, because sometimes you miss a word. So I'm just verifying everything. It is still in pencil, so I could erase if I needed to. So I am writing that in my Bible, the verse, the actual verse that I read. And there's my colored pencil. So I have the Arteza 72 count pencils. I grabbed the black because I wanted to darken up the inside of that eye a little bit. It's supposed to be a black, and it kind of looked gray. So I'm trying to darken that up a little bit. Don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more of this. I appreciate everybody that comes. I pray for my people all the time. I am just getting started, so I think this is, I mean, I've done Bible journaling for several years, but I think this is my second time online doing it. So I will be doing a lot more. That's my colored pencil coming in there. I decided it was going to be a blue eye. Whoops, looks like I lost the pencil for a second. Not quite sure how that flipped out of my hand, but it did. So I'm trying to do just a little bit of color. I don't want to color the whole thing. I'm just trying to do like the actual eyeball itself. Put a little bit of darker blue in there just for a few highlights. And I can't forget my tear. Then I used my white. That's just for a little bit of white space that I wanted to clarify. And I was actually trying to do a little bit of blending with it as well. I think I was getting more on my finger than I was actually being able to blend, so I decided to put those away. And I have a blending pencil that I'll use here in a minute. This is my Tombow brush marker. They come in a pack of 2, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna guess like maybe $10 tops, $8-10 for both of them. You can get these at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. I use these when I write in my Bible mostly. I don't paint on top of the marker. I will actually, if I'm going to watercolor or to paint, I will always do my marker after. If I use gesso on my page, which this page is not prepped, but if I use gesso on my page, then I will use stamps or stickers for the lettering. Just because the gesso is really, really hard on your markers. So I decided to thicken up some lines to go over this. I was going over this with my marker, and I decided to make the Majestic Splendor a little bit darker, trying to get it to stand out a little more than the rest. I'm not really good at the brush lettering. I would love to learn how to do this better. We saw this majestic splendor with our own eyes. To Peter 1:16. And you see it didn't go all the way over to the other side. It was too close to the edge, so I decided to go ahead and start off. I didn't go on my letters. I still knew, it still showed me what I needed to do. Now I'm taking my heat gun, and I'm going to make sure that that ink is dry before I try to erase the pencil marks, because I don't want the ink to smear. And if you've ever had that happen, you know what I mean. Because then you just get all disappointed about your whole page. So I'm just erasing all of the pencil markings that I had. And as you see, I still got pencil or eraser stuff inside my center of my Bible. So I take a paintbrush and scoot those out of there. So I'm trying to think of what I needed next. Of course, I need to state the date on there. And I just love my jumbo punch, my jumbo date stamp. And you see me working with it there, getting it on the right date. Something I don't realize, which you'll see here in a second, I put the wrong date on it. September 21st, 2020. It should have been September 12th, 2020. No, I don't fix it here, but I could fix that. I could just put a 1 in front and white out the other one, or white out the whole thing and restamp it. But I didn't notice this until after I was done with the video. So, here I'm getting out a blending tool, and I'm going to try to blend that eye a little bit more. Go. So I just tried blending that a little bit more. Trying to put a few extra marks up in there. Going the right way, so there you go. So this is my video. I am done at this point, I believe. Oh, I have to highlight the verse, of course. I decided to use this big brush marker, and because it matched the eye, I wanted it to. So I'm looking for the right part. Then I'm going to go around that whole paragraph there and mark that up. Now, I still didn't notice that the date is wrong at this point, but it's not a big deal. God knows what day it was, and I can always change it. So there you go. Thank you.